What's up, y'all? Your boy, Heaven Hollywood, back on the IE Network. And this is the Heaven Hollywood Special Report. All I've been hearing lately is Cardi B's gonna flop. Cardi B's new album's gonna flop. She's a flop, 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 flop. That's all we've been hearing, right? But I gotta ask you, what's a flop when it comes to Cardi B? Because the only thing I've been seeing over the past few years is Cardi B's not a real rapper. Cardi B's a gimmick. Don't compare Cardi B to this one. She's not a real rapper. So if Cardi B isn't a real rapper, why does she have to live up to real rapper standards? I've been seeing a lot of people say she's going to do 150. She's going to flop. She's only going to do 170. She's going to flop. So in today's climate, 150 and 170 is a flop compared in today's climate, especially for a not real rapper. Let's break it down. But I thought we weren't comparing the two. I thought they were never in the same class. Let's go over what happened here. So, of course, we're going to start off with the rapper, the real and only rapper, the only one who matters and exists, right? According to Nicki Minaj fans. And that's Nicki Minaj. And that was Pink Friday 2. The album did 228,000 units. Now, after that, the next highest after that was Doja Cat with Scarlet, and she did 72,000 units. After that was Glorilla, her third highest, Glorious, 69,000 units. And I remember everybody going nuts. Oh my God, Glorilla did 69,000. Doja Cat did 72,000, and they said she flopped. Megan Thee Stallion's Megan at 64,000 units, and Megan Thee Stallion, they said, flopped. All right? Now, keep in mind, Glorilla did 69, and they say, oh, amazing. Now, Lotto, SHIT, did 29,000 units, and they said Lotto flopped. Sexy Red and Sexy We Trust did 28,000 units, and nobody really had anything to say. So Lotto did 29,000, and they said she flopped bad, and Sexy Red did 28,000. Everybody said, oh, nobody really said anything. Then we had Ice Spice, who came in at 28,000 units, and a lot of people said she flopped. JT did 27,000 units. Nobody really said anything. But then Doechii, who won the Grammy, and who everyone was hyping as the next big thing, and they were talking about how she set all these different streaming records and had, this amount of Spotify listeners per month. Her album, Alligator Bites Never Heal, which she won a Grammy for, I believe, got 11,000 units. She sold 11,000 units. So now when you put all that together and you put it in one big bowl and you take it and you pull it out, that averages about 61,000 units. Now, Cardi B, 61,000 comes from all of those albums combined and then divided by the amount of people, I believe it's 9 or what have you. Now, Cardi B's Invasion of Privacy in 2018 sold 255,000 units in the first week and is now at 7.1 million total. And that is the highest album, out of what? Since what? Maybe Lauryn Hill's album? 7.1, right? So, why does Cardi B face a different standard? When Glorilla sold, as I mentioned, when Glorilla sells 69,000 unit, fans crown her, the Queen of Memphis. Doechii only sold 11,000 units for Alligator Bites Never Heal. A Grammy winning Critical Love. But Cardi, if Outside didn't hit number one, it hit number 10, they said it's a flop. Imaginary Players, if it comes top 60, or even if it makes top 40, they're going to say it's a flop. Right? Post says she's not a real rapper, leaning on ghostwriters or pop vibes, or she's a stripper rapper. Others scream never compare her to Nicki Minaj, pointing Nicki's 228 out in Pink Friday 2. But check this. Cardi's got 5 number ones and a Grammy for the best rap album. Nicki Minaj, who you guys say is the real rapper, she hasn't done that. When Nicki misses a Grammy or doesn't get one, her fans say, oh, she's above it. Who cares? She doesn't need a Grammy. But when Cardi's single peaks at number 10, or Imaginary Players is not going to do well, they'll say, oh, you mean to tell me with 5 number ones and a Grammy, this is the best she can do? But when Nicki doesn't have a Grammy, y'all say, so what? But when Cardi falls short, y'all use Grammy, her having a Grammy, as a slight. But I thought it didn't matter. Now, let's tackle the Cardi's not a real rapper shade. Post dragging her saying she's a stripper with no vocals, or saying she buys her bars, or she has no bars, or she has ghostwriters. And, Outside showed her flow was still sharp. I loved her flow on Outside, right? Of course, her Grammy win for Invasion of Privacy proves that where the industry rates her. Now, of course, I always said she may not spit like Rhapsody or Dolce, but her hits and charisma dominate. The hate, mostly fan wars. For the most part, I would say 85% of the people that hate Cardi B are probably barbs. Right? They always say she can't touch the Queen's legacy. But yet and still, every single time Cardi drops, they have something to say about it. Remember, they told us that Atlantic was giving up on Cardi, shifting her budget to Lotto or Glorilla, or one time they said Lizzo. They gave her budget to Lizzo. So, why is it that Cardi B, if y'all say she's not a real rapper, why did she get held to real rapper standards? Oh, I got it. Because she said her records live in the top 10. Well, it shouldn't matter what she says, because she also said 5 number ones, you got 5 number nines, and that at the time was correct. But, y'all hold on this because she said her records live in the top 10, so all of them have to be in the top 10. But it really shouldn't matter what she says if you all have been saying from the beginning she's not a real rapper. But yet and still, you want to hold her to real rapper standards. So I say all this to say this. If Cardi B comes out, I've already made my prediction. I said she's going to do 155. When you compare that to all of the other girls in her genre, the closest was to Nicki Minaj 228 was Doja Cat 72. I believe Cardi B's 155. She does a 155. She does a 150. She does 140 in this climate. How can you say that's a flop when the highest that you've seen, other than Nicki Minaj, was 72,000? and then Glorilla at 69,000. Because how can 145 be a flop? Nicki did 228. Oh, but we're not comparing her to Nicki, I thought. So are we comparing her to Nicki or we're not? What are we doing here? 140 isn't a flop by anyone's standards except Barb's. Unless you're saying she did 255. She's not going to do the same thing as she did with Invasion of Privacy. Number one, the climate is totally different. Right? The climate is totally different. I believe, personally, her fan base, it was much more hype 7 years ago. Times has changed. Music has changed. Right? So I do believe still her coming out, and if she does 150, 155, 145, 140, it's still going to be higher than every other rapper except Nicki Minaj. And Nicki Minaj has the biggest fan base, arguably, of anybody on social media. So I don't know why you would even expect her to do 228. She doesn't have that fan base. She did it before. Yes, she did it before. Times were different. So people were consuming music different. So my thing is, either Cardi B is a real rapper or she isn't. And if you say she's not, which all I've been hearing, then you can't hold her to real rapper standards. And the average female rapper is 61K first week. That's what we took all the female rappers to drop projects. If Cardi B comes out and doubles that, how can you say it's a flop? You can't. It's only a flop to one fan base. It's your boy Heaven Hollywood, IE Network, where we talk nothing but facts and stats over here. Peace.